Swinub farming up and firing off the Icy Wind. Icy Wind going to hit for heavy neutral damage. The opponent respects it with a shield, then stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We catch the Muddy Water onto Ducklett, and my god, this is going to do absolutely nothing. The opponent now going to switch out into Cottony. Cottony is hitting us for neutral. We're hitting back for super effective. The opponent only with one shield remaining. We're full sending the Brave Bird. Does the opponent respect the damage? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. So welcome back to the channel. Today, we are taking a look at the most busted Shadow Core in the Little Jungle Cup. Have a look on the screen, that's its matchups against the top meta threats. Absolutely, all of the top meta threats are covered. I always get people ask me, can I run these Pokemon as non-Shadows? Of course you can, however, one point to note. As you see on the screen, Shadow Swinub picks up the Bear Trap, aka Galarian Stunfisk, in the one shield, and the regular Swinub picks up Shadow Steelix. Without any further ado, let's get into today's battles. Huge shout out to Komviper for the incredible battle submission. And in game 1, we'll lead Swinub into Cottony, the opponent's ace switches into the Bear Trap, Galarian Stunfisk, and straight away Shadow Swinub going to be putting in work. Komviper tanks the Muddy Water, returns fire with the Icy Wind. Icy Wind going to be commanding a shield. He then farms up, makes a savage catch, catching the next Muddy Water onto Ducklett, where this is going to do absolutely nothing. A great play. Ducklett and Galarian Stunfisk going to pace at the same speed to charge moves. However, unfortunately, we lose the charge move priority event. Komviper respects the Rock Slide, committing a shield and going to return fire with the Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam, usually a dreadful move. However, at 500 CP, it hits for heavy, super effective damage. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, send out Dino, and we're going straight for the kill shot. Does the opponent respect the damage? Brave Bird draws the final shield. The opponent then gets a very big Dragon Breath farm down. The opposition's Dino now has a charge move. We still have one Protect Shield to hide behind. We send in Swinub. Do we see the last Protect Shield deployed here? Yes, we do. The opponent's still going to be Switch Lock. We outpace to the Body Slam, and Body Slam going to be returning Dino to the Pokeball. Komviper waiting for his Thomas pop up. There it pops. Skorupi now primed to sweep this game. We've just got to farm up to the back-to-back charge moves. We're at the back-to-back. Cross Poison going to be returning the annoying pesky Charmer to their Pokeball. Skorupi says, feed me that Bear Trap. We've got the Aqua Tail locked and loaded, and that's going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. The energy generation on Skorupi, ridiculous. It only takes 4 Poison Stings to both charge moves. In the next battle, we see another annoying Charmer, or at least so I thought. The opponent actually running Razor Leaf. Not fantastic, as it does hit us for super effective. We see the pivot into Skorupi, and this is where the benefit of the spam is going to come in. We land the first Aqua Tail. The opponent hitting us for super effective, but Skorupi hangs on, making the next Aqua Tail and forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent does manage to Rock Throw farm us all the way down. Komviper can now send back out Swinub, shield once, Powder Snow farm down, and get the Icy Wind ready. We're actually choosing to no shield. Hopefully this is only a Sand Tomb, and holy crap, the opponent YOLOs the Stone Edge. It's now all down to Ducklett. Ducklett took a lot of damage from the rock throws, and as if that wasn't bad enough, the opponent's got a Smackdown user in the back, and this little duck is going to get smacked the absolute shit out of. The opponent full laying the Smackdown on us. We are playing it out, however, there's going to be 0 win con. Ducklett forces the final shield, and unfortunately we take the loss. Double rock users, definitely not what our backline wants to see. In the next battle, we see Swinub into Ducklett. In theory, this is a losing matchup, however, the opponent doesn't even build up to a Brave Bird. We can tank the Bubble Beam. Komviper not wanting to fire off debuffed energy, we pivot out into our Ducklett. And this is why people hate Little Jungle Cup. This is the bait game. We call the opponent gonna Brave Bird and dip, and the opponent goes for a very cheeky masturbating session. We then pivot out into the Bear Trap. However, the huge energy lead for us is going to be advantageous. Despite our Bubble Beams being 1-stage debuff, we're going to 2-stage debuff the opponent before they even reach a Rock Slide, despite our Duck being in Shadow form, and this being Little Cup. Stunfisk, you sir, have an absolute shit attack that doesn't knock out Ducklett. Now makes Bubble Beam number 3, putting shield pressure on the opponent. The opponent refuses to shield a Bubble Beam, however Ducklett now in a position where we can take back switch. The opponent needs to Rock Slide, they go for a Muddy Water, huge misplay again, this is a Muddy Water. Ducklett will be taking back switch. Not only do we get switch, we leave with a Bubble Beam to annoyingly debuff the opposing Duck. The opponent still hanging on to 2 Protect Shields. We send out Swinub with residual energy good to go. We fire off the Body Slam, forcing the first Protect Shield. Ducklett is going to outpace us to the Bubble Beam. Tough decision to make. Komviper shields up the Bubble Beam. He then over farms, fires off One more body slam. Is the opponent gonna invest their final protect shield? No, they're not. The opponent's final Pokemon is Cottony. The opponent thinking they can one shield their Charmer to victory and get absolutely fucking wrecked. My god, do I hate Charm. The opponent recognising they're going to get outpaced to the back-to-back charge moves and save their shield for next season. Moving on to the next one. Yet another Duck. Who would have guessed it? Ducklett absolutely everywhere. PV Poke's #1 ranked pick. The opponent farms up to 6 at worst. This is an Aerial Arse. However, Aerial Arse looks like a pretty good move in the Little Cup. We tank that, come in to our own Ducklett. The opponent farms up to a potential Brave Bird. We see the shield deployed. The opponent is not baiting. Full sending the Brave Bird to then pivot out into Cottony. And unfortunately, we've got no Aerial Arse, so we're going to YOLO the bird. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get absolutely wrecked. Back out comes their own Ducklett, and we're YOLOing Brave Bird. #2. The second Brave Bird does command a shield. The opponent then wing attack farms us down. Komviper sends back out Swinub, firing off the body slam, winning the charge move priority event. Body slam forces the final protect shield. Komviper instantly deploys his own final protect shield. Is now all shields down. Swinub farming up, firing off the body slam. Body slam will be lethal, and it's going to be Skorupi and the 0 shields versus whatever we have in the back. We pivot instantly, not allowing the opponent any free farm. A great play. I believe 2 aqua towce going to be lethal, and the opponent not going to be able to take us out. We've even got a little bit of Swinub left. The opponent does fire off a charge move. Even an Icy Wind won't be lethal. The opponent does fire off the Icy Wind. Skorupi shrugs it off, makes the next aqua towce, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing a very well played game. Moving on to the next battle. We see Swinub into Vigoroth, a big yikes moment. We see the instant pivot into our Skorupi safe switch. The opponent stays in. We fire off the Cross Poison. Cross Poison does get same type attack bonus and has a chance for a boost. Speaking of boost, there is the boost. Let's go. We know we do survive a body slam. Komviper doesn't shield, and that's a great decision as the opponent now hard punishes us with a Ducklett. Our Ducklett not going to appreciate the boosted Cross Poison. It lands for huge neutral damage. The opponent does get the wing attack farm down. The opposing Duck only 1 wing attack away from a Brave Bird. The opponent overfarms heavily. Do we respect the potential Brave Bird? Holy smokes, look at the size of Komviper's Gahonas. How the hell do you walk around with their massive balls? We call a huge bait. Fire off the body slam on the charge move priority event. The opponent sends back out Vigoroth. That gets wing attack farm down Ducklett with a huge running start. The opponent's final Pokemon is Cottony. We're farming up. Let's see how big the opponent's Gahonas are. We go for the Bubble Beam bait. The opponent also has massive balls, calling the bait at this stage. I think we just go straight Bubble Beam all the way. Komviper fires off the next Bubble Beam. The opponent refusing to shield. However, Ducklett debuffing this thing into oblivion. The next Bubble Beam finally forces a protect shield. The wing attacks get this Cottony so low. Ducklett still not done. Makes Bubble Beam probably around 1000. The opponent lets it go, and we take that game. Komviper started his legend push at 2900 ELO, and we go a nice 4-1 in set #1. Heading into set #2. Familiar lead. Swinub into Ducklett. Let's see if this opponent actually builds up to a Brave Bird. We go straight for a body slam, trying to get off some energy before the opponent potentially debuffs us. The opponent doesn't shield up the body slam. Komviper also not interested in shielding, and I'll tell you why, because if you use Shadow Pokemon, people love to bait. What a call. We pivot out into Ducklett. The opponent now back at a Brave Bird. Do we call another bait? No, we get baited. Shielding a Bubble Beam. The opponent then pivots out into Vigoroth, and we don't even build up to the Brave Bird. We go straight Bubble Beam. As we have lowered Vigoroth's attack, we're easily able to survive the body slam. We see the instant no shield deployed from Komviper. A stab body slam, even debuff, does do quite a lot. Komviper now YOLOing the Brave Bird. Does it sneak through? The opponent correctly shields up the Brave Bird, then get a very nice counter farm down. We now send out Skorupi. Skorupi pretty thick as a shadow. Body slam is debuffed, and we actually tank that incredibly well. We then farm up, fire off the Cross Poison. Do we see another boost? Come on, RNG. We fire off the Cross Poison, no boost this time. The opponent very likely to send back out their Ducklett. Komviper instantly pivots into Swinub, looking to snipe. Unfortunately, Ducklett makes the charge with 1 HP and a dream. We invest our final protect shield. The opponent's final Pokemon is Chikorita. Icy Wind will be forcing the final protect shield, and more importantly will be permanently debuffing them. It's now all down to our below half health Skorupi. Can we survive the body slam? Yes, we can. The Vine Whips are double resisted. We make the cross poison. Is cross poison going to be enough? 2 one-shot Chikorita, Super Vic, they survive. We get the boost, and 2 more Poison Stings take an incredibly close game. Moving on to the next battle. You see Swinub into Galarian Stunfisk, so we can win this in the one shield. I'm still trying to get my head around a meta where Muddy Water is the preferred moveset. What is life? We shield up the Muddy Water. Komviper now going to return fire with the Icy Wind. Icy Wind going to land but heavy neutral damage or force a shield. The opponent lets it go. We then farm up, look to catch a Muddy Water onto Ducklett. My god, the opponent showed great discipline, holding their energy. We then have to tank a super effective Rock Slide. The opponent then send out Tropius. We look to commit to their Brave Bird, no such luck. We get Razor Leaf down. This now sets up a very nice opportunity for Skorupi to come in, get ahead in energy. As the Razor Leafs are double resisted, the opponent only goes for a Leaf Blade, also double resisted, and Komviper is not shielding shit. That does absolutely nothing. Skorupi continuing to overfarm. We're now almost at maximum energy. Cross Poison, going to be fired off. We've got our fishing line out. Fishing for that boost, no such luck. If Stunfisk returns, we should be able to Poison Sting farm down the opponent, thinking about what they want to come in with, and are you serious? They send out Cottony, Skorupi now smelling blood. First cross poison, draws the protection, we then throw 1 Poison Sting and the next cross poison, ensuring the opponent can't make a catch. There's now all shields down. We're now going to overfarm. We need to be careful of the sack. There's the attempted sack, no such luck, and Skorupi absolutely wrecks the back line. Moving on to the next one. Swinub Vigoroth, nothing short of dreadful. 2 better responses in the back. We pivot into our spammy Scorpion, and the opponent answers with Altaria. Despite them being a flyer and us being a bug, this isn't a bad matchup. We fire off the first cross poison. The opponent already below half HP, and we make cross poison number 2. This should be putting pressure on Altaria's shield, and it does. We now see the boost. Komviper could actually shield this move up, get to 1 more cross poison, take switch or force the final shield. However, he just allows Skorupi to go down. I think the problem with this play is we are going to be able to Powder Snow farm down. However, we're going to be switch locked when Vigoroth returns. We get the Powder Snow farm down. Komviper going to spam out the Body Slam as soon as he gets it. Switch timer should be up after this. The opponent actually commits their final shield, and here comes the Mighty Duck. The opponent's final Pokemon is Pikachu Libre. Uh-oh, can we sweep this team? I think we need to throw the Brave Bird before we have to invest our final protection, as Vigoroth does have a move. We actually don't go for that play. I think this is going to be a loss. Let's see. Thunder Punch draws our final shield. Komviper farms up to 100 energy. However, we're not at back-to-back Brave Birds. You're unable to store 2 Brave Birds as you're capped at 100 energy and Brave Birds 55. Body Slam going to be taken out. The Mighty Duck. We are going to reach 1 Body Slam, but Body Slam probably won't be lethal. Let's see. Body Slam going to hit pretty hard with same type attack bonus. And who was worried? We somehow pull off an absolutely incredible 1 HP and a dream win. Let's go. In the next battle, we see yet another Bear Trap. This is like Open Great League all over again. Not a bad matchup for us. The opponent going to strike first with the Muddy Water. We see Komviper invest his shield. He likes to go for the catch on the Muddy Water. Let's see if he successfully catches. We fire off the Icy Wind. The opponent chooses to match shields. Do we go for the catch? Yes, we do. However, the opponent shows great discipline, holding their energy. We are going to have to tank a debuff Rock Slide, but ouch, that hurt. We're then going to look to go for the Bubble Beam. However, the opponent actually makes the catch in a very strange turn of events. The opponent actually catch on a Shadow Chikorita, and that is brutal, as Brave Bird would be vanquishing them back to their Pokeball. However, Komviper undeterred fires off 1 more Bubble Beam. The opponent looking for the Vine Whip farm down. They get scared, dump energy. The opponent now so low. Body Slam takes us out. However, the opponent is at back-to-back, so I think we should probably absorb it on the bulkier Skorupi. Komviper evidently agrees. We send out Skorupi. We get denied. That's not how the game's intended to work. Niantic, fix your fucking game. We're in Season 15. What is this nonsense? The opponent then aggressively send out an Air Slash Tropius. This definitely gives us a chance. I think Komviper's got a shield once. Try and Powder Snow. Farm him down. Powder Snow's never done so much damage. However, we actually don't go for that play. We throw 1 Powder Snow and the Body Slam. I think this is going to be game. If it's a Rock Slide, it's going to be lethal, and I don't think Skorupi's going to be able to clean up. Rock Slide does take us out. Komviper looks to farm up to the back-to-back. This Aqua will be forcing the final shield. Are we at the back-to-back? Yes, we are, but we lose CMP, and that is going to be all she wrote. So I think that was definitely a win con there. I think if we Powder Snow farm all the way down, we could have looked to force the final shield off Stunfisk, but I assume Swinub wins CMP. However, don't quote me on that. In the next battle, you guessed it, Yet another Ducklett lead. This opponent goes straight bubble beam, losing CMP tie to our Swinub. Swinub fires off the body slam. The opponent shows no respect, and likewise Komviper showing no respect to no bubble beam nonsense. We then see the simul swap. We've got some shadow on shadow crime. Ducklett into Steelix. This matchup isn't actually that bad considering we're a flyer into a steel type. The opponent fires off the Psychic Fang. We shrug it off, return fire with the bubble beam, and I can't actually believe we lost CMP. Steelix doesn't usually win too many CMP ties. However, as I said, this matchup isn't that bad as our sub water typing hits the opponent's sub ground typing for super effective. We force a protect shield. The opponent then commits to the full Dragon Tail farm down. Komviper has gained himself shield advantage here in the mid game. He waits out his timer, sends in Skorupi, and Skorupi definitely not going to appreciate the Psychic Fangs. We see the instant shield deployed. We then see the very aggressive pivot back into Swinub, looking for the farm down. The opponent says no, banks a charge move and pivot out into their bear trap. We go straight for the Icy Wind. Icy Wind lowers the bear trap's attack and gets them reasonably low, to be honest. The opponent going to fire off the Muddy Water. Muddy Water secures the knockout. Back out comes Skorupi. We fire off the Aqua Tail as soon as we got it, and Skorupi has got a huge task ahead of him. We know Steelix has a Psychic Fangs bank. We do have a Protect Shield, however that will lower our attack and then the wing attacks will start tearing through us. Back out comes Steelix. Komviper going to invest his final Protect Shield here, however this Steelix is so low. Can we Poison Sting farm down the opponent? Recognising they're going to get Poison Stung farm down, send out Ducklett. The opponent shields the first cross poison, we don't see a boost. Skorupi makes the next cross poison. This is going to be incredibly close. Cross poison doesn't knock out. We get the Sting farm down. Back out comes Steelix, and we resisted Poison Sting farm down and take that game. My god, the little spammy Scorpion coming in clutch again. You can see Komviper did go a very nice 4-on-1 in set number 2, heading into the final set. We're going to lead Shadow Swinub into a Vigoroth. You hate to see it. We're going to see the instant pivot into the Skorupi once again. The opponent stays in. We farm up. Komviper not messing about, going straight for the cross poison, getting his fishing rod out. Show me the boost. No such luck. Vigoroth fires off a body slam. We see the instant no shield. I really like this player. Ducklett absolutely everywhere, and we don't want to shield and then get hard punished with a flyer. Speaking of which, the opponent sends out the flying toilet. This thing is so glassy, even in the open Great League. Cross poison does command a protect shield. This is such a rough spot. We can't really come back into Swinub unless we're looking to completely sack it. Komviper does bring back out the Swinub. It looks like we are just going to completely sack it. We're going to put all our hopes and dreams on the back of this mighty duck. Can we close this game out? I have absolutely no doubt the opponent's going to go straight weather ball. However, we do respect a potential hurricane. The opponent does go for the masturbating session. Komviper can tank this move, but all chip damage is just getting our hopes and dreams slashed a little bit more. The opponent's final Pokemon is Swinub, and this is just game over. The Powder Snows are hitting us for neutral, and we're rapidly running out of HP. We make one final Bubble Beam. The opponent invests their final Protect Shield. Ducklett now deep in the red, and that Vigoroth is still ridiculously healthy. We are going to shield up the Body Slam. We're at the Bubble Beam. We lose CMP, and unfortunately we're going to take a heartbreaking loss despite being so close to Legend. We're sat at 2,972 elo, so we need to win the next 4 games if we're going to achieve Legend in the next battle. Yet more shadow on shadow crime. The opponent aggressively switched out into a Razor Leaf user, and Skorupi absolutely feasting. We look to go for the full Poison Sting farm down. We don't make it. However, this is only a double resisted Seed Bomb. Skorupi tanks it on the chin. We do farm down. We're at 100 energy, however, we're so low. Please survive that rock throw. Please, Skorupi. We fire off the first Aqua Tail. Skorupi's defense doesn't let me down, you absolute bulky little beast. We fire off the next Aqua Tail, forcing a protection. We come into Swinub. We get the Powder Snow farm down. This is like Deja Vu. It's like yesterday as these battles are going so fast. Swinub fires off the Icy Wind. The opponent invests their final Protect Shield. We show him Ducklett, and that is going to be all she wrote. Let's go. 1-on-1, heading into the third battle. We see a familiar lead Swinub into their bear trap. The last 2 times we've attempted to catch a Muddy Water, we've been unsuccessful. Let's see if Komviper makes the same play, and let's see if he's successful. We shield up the Muddy Water, return fire with the Icy Wind. Stunfisk will survive this, but we're left incredibly low. The opponent does commit that shield. We make the play, and this time we are successful. Try and try again, and eventually you'll be rewarded. That's a great catch on our behalf. The opponent now responds to our Ducklett safe switch with Cottony, and we're so close to legend. There's no baiting this time. We're full sending the Brave Bird. Does the opponent respect the damage? Sadly they do. They're now all shields down. This pesky little charmer already at half health. This time we do get our poison sting through, and the opponent goes straight for the double resisted seed bomb. That's an easy tank. Do we commit to the full poison sting farm down? Skorupi absolutely feasting. We get the full sting farm down. The opponent has no protect shields. Too hard behind. The opponent sends out Ducklett, looking to absorb the energy as Stunfisk would take super effective from the aqua tail of the first cross poison. Lands for around a third of the health. It looks like 3 will knock out the second one. Also lands. We then see the aggressive pivot into Swinub. The opponent at a bubble beam. We see our last protect shield deployed here. The opponent's going to need to pivot, or they'll get farmed down. Back out comes the bear trap. We fire off the Icy Wind. Is Icy Wind enough to knock out with the debuff? No, the opponent hangs on with 1 HP and a dream. The opponent didn't commit to the rock slide. Muddy Water doesn't get the job done. We get the powder snow farm down. Back out comes that Ducklett. We make the Icy Wind, and you can get that duck and the rest of your stupid meta nonsense out of here. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see a familiar name. Both of these trainers are from the Cold Love Discord. Huge shout out to Cold Love. However, getting back into the commentary, we see a familiar lead. Swinub into the bear trap. We see the instant shield deployed on the Muddy Water. Komviper going to return fire with the Icy Wind. This is going to land for heavy neutral damage or force a protect shield. The opponent lets it go. We're going to look to make the catch. The opponent shows great discipline, holding their energy. And now our duck is going to eat a rock slide to the face. Ducklett already down to half health. However, the opponent send out Cottony, and it's already time to YOLO the Brave Bird. Does the opponent respect the damage? Yes, they do. Komviper not interested in waiting out his timer. Skorupi's ready to feast. Skorupi comes in. We're going to go for the very aggressive poison sting farm down. We can tank absolutely anything. The opponent fires off the double resisted seed bomb. Skorupi having an absolute tasty little snack. Cottony gets absolutely wrecked. The opponent sends back up the bear trap, and we're going for the cross poison. I really like this play. His cross poison will be enough to knock out and gives us a chance of the boost. We don't see the boost. The opponent send out a counter user. I imagine it's Vigoroth. Vigoroth doesn't respect the first cross poison. However, Skorupi already at the second cross poison. We're already in the red, but the counters are double resisted. Vigoroth looks to go for the counter farm down. They don't get it, and the opponent concedes the match. We're heading into the final battle of the video. We lead Swinub into Ducklett. Moment of truth time. Can Komviper hold his nerve and clutch out this game? The opponent does us a huge favour, going straight bubble beam. We win charge move priority. We force a protect shield on the body slam. We see the instant no shield deployed. We tank the bubble beam, pivot out into Ducklett. The opponent stays in. Are we about to get baited once again? The opponent at the Brave Bird. We are going to respect it. Please don't bubble beam us. And of course the opponent masturbates. They now send out Swinub, and Swinub going to be met with bubble beam spam. The first bubble beam does absolutely nothing. After we're debuffed, Komviper fires off the Brave Bird. However, we lose CMP. We're going to tank the body slam on the chin. The opponent only a 1 protect shield remaining. Are they willing to shield up Swinub? They are not. Get wrecked. The opponent sends back out their duck. They get the wing attack farm down. We're in the 1-to-1 shield. If you've made it to this point in the video, you should start recognising team comps. I'm almost certain it's Cottony in the back. We respect the potential Brave Bird. The opponent full sends. We see the simul swap, and we guess correct. It's Cottony, and this is going to be G to the motherfucking G. Show me that legend badge. Komviper fires off the cross poison. The opponent invests their final protect shield. All Komviper needs to do is tank this charge move. Nothing will knock us out. Farm up to the back-to-back moves. 1 for Cottony, 1 for Ducklett, and then it'll be game over. The opponent recognises that, and they concede the match. GG's, and thanks for playing. Huge shout out to Komviper. Another season in the bank with that legend badge and new pose. Huge congratulations, buddy. It was an incredible showcase showing just how powerful Swinub and Ducklett core can be in the Little Jungle Cup. He also showed just how spammy this little Skorupi is. My god, that thing was going on an absolute rampage. So enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. Link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.